Good morning, everybody. I hope you're well, whatever part of the world you are in. And it's a wonderful fall day here, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. So I'm assuming that our New Zealand, South African, and Australian friends are now looking forward to spring. Anyway, today's two subjects are going to be about the art and the beauty and the power of journaling. It's been requested. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to talk about a fabulous skincare tip that I think many aren't thinking about. And then, of course, we're going to have our Q&A. So let's get right out of the chute to, where are we here? Okay. I'm just, little technical difficulty here. All right. To the power and the passion of journaling and how we can use it in our beauty, in our personal life, with relationships, with our goals, with everything. And whether you write your goals or you type them or you do art, for your journaling, whatever speaks to you is the way you want to go, to embrace, to appreciate. So let me see now. I have the first thing out of the chute is the most updated form of, or the most recent form of journaling is called bullet journaling. And what that is all about doing it in a fast-track sort of way. Now, I tend to see it more as kind of like a day timer. You know, the old-fashioned day timers, they used to call them fax, a fax book or something. Anyway, I see it as that. Good morning, Linda. And that's great for busy people, but my approach that I have found that works for me and has for decades is to take a more in-depth look at journaling, because it is the doorway to creativity and good mental wealth. And as they say, a life that's worth living is worth recording. Now, Laura Birdsall asked if we would do this because she said there are studies, she quotes, there were studies I read years ago, and even many top psychologists didn't know exactly why it works, but everyone admitted that journaling does indeed work. Perhaps it's about getting in touch with your subconscious a little bit more, which isn't accessible necessarily on our day-to-day busy and modern intrusive lives. I think that that's very, very true, and I'm a huge proponent of it. An excellent mental health tip is dedicated to designing a weekly time, so that, if you can set some time aside for yourself, like you do for your beauty regimes or whatever, having time to journal is like having time for yourself emotionally and mentally for whatever your life is presenting you at that particular point in time. It's a place to write your thoughts, your feelings, your questions, your emotions. You get strokes of brilliance and how to deal with the dilemmas in your journal. Now you can write it in a book, or you can, do any number of things. So with the bullet journal, as I said, it's something that is used as a kind of a fast-track way of dealing with journaling. So now what a lot of people like to do is they prefer art. Art is a way that they approach their journaling. They draw their feelings, or you might work with beads or things of that nature, or you sew, or you do whatever. When we're involved in an artistic endeavor, somehow there's a connection with another part of ourselves that that we don't normally get in touch with, as has been stated, by our busy lives. Now, there's plenty of online help with artful journaling too. And Wendy Robinson, who's on Facebook with a page called Freedom Journaling, it shows this quite well. Now, again, you can use tiny books, big books, single pages, big art books, whatever you want to do. It's trying to figure out what's the best form of journaling for you. Now, I have to say, when I think about a journal and what I had to do when my daughter was living, and she was very, very ill with her uncontrollable epilepsy. Oftentimes, there was emergencies to deal with. So, what I did was I created a daily living plan for myself. And what that plan did was I worked everything out and how I could work in my own time and she could have her own time, but there was still safety built in. And then all the things that we had to do with shopping and doctors and things of that nature. I wrote a daily living plan. And at the top of it, I said, and I gave myself time for each thing. At the top of it, I said, this is a flexible structure so that when disaster or crisis strikes, everything goes on hold. You deal with your crisis. And then when the dust is clear, then you go back to the plan and you pick up where you left off. I found it was an amazing way to be organized and be helpful, and both my daughter and myself to have autonomy from each other, yet still have a good plan in mind. So that's where a daily living plan for your particular circumstances is really vital. And I think that the bullet journaling is part of that. So I just want to touch base with that. Now, the other thing besides an artful approach is events, an events journal. It's important. Why? It's for use in all-round life issues. It's nothing specific. So you can either have a separate journal like this for events, or you can take a journal and split it into sections that affect you for your life and your circumstances. I prefer to have different books for different things. I actually, at this point now in my life, I have a book for my daughter, one for my son, and one for me. I don't, because I'm retired, my life has changed. My journaling habits or needs have changed. So I adapt accordingly. And what's really good about an events journal, I'm finding for a lot of people too, is as we're aging and graying, that's kind of an event in your life. And so what happens if you're just new to embracing your gray hair and you're a little bit trepid about it and you're getting comments and things from people. Some are positive, some are negative. Sometimes a lot are negative and sometimes a lot are positive, and anything in between. A journal, writing your feelings, really helps a lot to understand how you're feeling deep down inside and how to categorize negative comments and put them where they belong so that they don't affect you in a negative way. You don't take them on, so to speak. You let it out of you on paper or art or whatever it is. Get it out of you and it's there. It makes a world of difference. It helps you understand yourself better and what's happening in your world and the direction that your life is taking. It's also a great resource to who you are and how you're living your life. You know, how am I embracing my gray? Or how am my face is changing, these lines are happening and everything's dropping, and excuse me, what am I going to do about it? What does that mean? Am I old now and I'm this and I'm that? And that's where you can train yourself to say, wait a minute, I'm aging, yes. And I'm getting older. Yes. And I'm looking at all the things that I have accomplished in my life. Whoops, that's not supposed to happen. Marketing again. And sorry about that, ladies. And with all of those things happening, you could be feeling bad about yourself, but writing about it and say, how can I make the best of what I've got now as I'm going forward and changing? How can I do that? How does that make me feel? Or, why do I feel like I'm an old, feeble person, as somebody said actually the other day? Well, what does that mean exactly? Do you feel feeble because of the propaganda in the world about aging, or, allergy season? Or are you feeling old because your body's getting older? Your face is dropping. Things are changing. Your waistline is expanding. That sort of thing. All of those things, and they're different for all of us. When you write it down and you clarify what it is, instead of just letting stuff go round in your head and not really make any sense, clarifying what it is and then asking yourself, why is this important? Why am I putting so much emphasis on this? Where is it coming from? Then when then you can decide where you want to go with it. Do you want to continue on, or do you want to redirect your thinking and redesign your approach to things? And that's where the journal really helps to clarify all of that. So, I can't overstate it enough. Now, here's another thing that I think is really important, and we forget to do often, is an appreciations journal, because oftentimes in life we're hit with a lot of negative things at different parts in our lives. And as equally important, we do have things to appreciate. And when we write them down, they become more solid. We can either embrace them or we leave them on the page. Like the negative stuff you leave on the page, the good stuff, you soak it in and embrace it. It's essential to pay attention to the good things in life. And this kind of journal helps you to refocus on the beautiful aspects and your successes, and just helps to balance things out. And I did for a little while. I started this project, and I'd sent it to Oprah, but I was ignored like lots of other times in my life. And I started this thing with myself called appreciation letters. And once a month, I'd write a letter to a friend or a colleague or somebody that had, some impact in my life. And I'd state 5 things about them that I appreciated. I got to tell you, that was the most powerful thing I was doing, and I'm vowed to resurrect it. Even people you don't get along with well. What was brilliant about it was I had to really dig deep to find something about that person that was positive, that I appreciated, that I admired or I respected about them. I have to tell you, that was one of the most profound things I've ever done in my life. It changes your thinking, it changes your attitude, and it gives a gift to somebody when they least expected it. And especially to somebody where maybe you don't get along so well. It changes the dynamic to a more positive one. Anyway, appreciations journal is vital. And that little journal, that picture of a journal, that my daughter gave me that probably about 4 years before she passed away. And every time I write in it, I feel like I'm connecting with her. So it's a great thing to do to balance your life out. Now next, what's an important thing is a questions journal. The quality of your life is determined by the questions you ask. Now in this one, free write. Don't worry about your grammar, your spelling, all that sort of thing. Just stating your problem in one form of handwriting. Like if your pitch or your slant is to the right, then state the problem to the left, or whatever works for you. And if you're typing, you can bold it, or you can slant it or underline it, or whatever works for you. Then after you've written down the problem, just kind of center yourself for a few seconds. Get stable with yourself. Close your eyes and pay attention to the feelings that start to come up within you. Then write them down in a different slant, or a different font, or whatever it is you're using to express yourself in your journal. I have to tell you, you'd be amazed at how much wisdom you have within you. Truly, you really, really do. Ideas and strokes of brilliance will abound the more you do it. Like anything, if you're having problems with, if you're having problems or you need answers for, this is a great exercise to get to the heart of your concerns or problems more quickly. I have done this, I guess probably in the last 25 years I've been doing that. And especially when I'm having a problem with something. When things are going well, I don't feel the need. And when they aren't, that's when I do my questions journal. Help. How do I make this better? How do I fix this problem? How do I address it? How do I work with this person or situation? And I have to tell you, when I've gone back and reread, because I reread my journals, part of my Christmas and New Year holiday regimen now is to, over a few days, read my journal from the year. And then, or journals, depending on how many I've written in. And then I let it ponder. I cook it for a few days in the old cauldron, And then when I set my goals and where I want to go, that sort of thing for the new year, I have all those things in mind, and they help direct me where I want to go. And, in the last few years, it's just keep on keeping on. But that's where my life is now. In previous years, it was major changes that I had to make in some cases. So it becomes a real friend to you. And I have to tell you, when I've reread my journal, I thought, holy cow, where did that come from? Within. Because I gave the inner part of me time to express itself. So, questions journal is a really good thing to have. Now, the other thing that is, I think, a really, really good thing to do is to make use of video journaling or audio journaling. Now, they say a picture's worth, 1,000 words. Well, I think a video is worth tenfold that. Now, once you've become comfortable with the illumination of the written word, once you feel comfortable with journaling, if you aren't already, then it's time to step up the ante and explore an incredibly exciting and revealing world of video or audio journaling. Now, there's nothing quite like watching the real you and hearing yourself speak about your innermost feelings, viewpoints, ramblings, and imaginings. And once you've recovered from video or audio shock, and oh no, I don't sound like that. Oh my God, I don't look like that. Oh. It takes a while, trust me. Everybody who's been on video or film for any length of time goes through this. Trust me, they do. So once you recover from it, then you start to get used to it. And you'll discover the you that others see and hear. Your full, fantastic, beautiful, complete, real self, and all your humanness. This way you can understand let's suppose you're having problems. There's a consistent thing that you can't quite figure out that seems to be going awry. Seeing yourself visually and or auditorially will help you to understand the way you're presenting yourself to the world and the feedback you're getting. Now, a video journaling is also a fantastic tool for your weight management, for your makeup, for your hair, for your wardrobe auditing. You know, it really is. I mean, and you've got it on your smartphone. I mean, we've come so far. This is where the digital tools really do make a difference in our lives. And it's, you know, it's smart to make good use of them. Now, there's a couple of approaches that you can take or you can consider to journaling too. You can go freestyle, like just turn it on or just open the book and just go freestyle, just whatever's on the top of your head. And or you can write out a script of topics you want to talk about, and just in bullet point form, and that's where the bullet journal comes in handy. Use it as a diary, a record of your life. Now, I would recommend, however, that if you like the idea of video journaling, the other great thing about it is you can leave a video legacy for your children, your grandchildren, or whoever. And you could leave a video legacy that start now and then every year add, another 5 or 10 minutes to it. And until you continue on. The discoveries you make in your own life, the things that you overcome in your own life, can be a wonderful teaching tool and legacy to your loved ones that come behind you. So that's another thing that you can do with that. Now, some people, on the other hand, will feel that I don't want anybody to get a hold of my journal, or I don't want anybody to see the video or whatever, because you keep one for your legacy, let's say, if you decide to do that, and one that you write all your anger and your hate in, and another one where you're trying to look at life in a little bit of a different way. You might not want anybody to see any of that till you're ready. So there's all kinds of ways of encrypting an online, an online journal. Or you can write your written journals. You can put them in a box with a lock. And it depends if you live with people or not. And your video, you can just keep them on those little thumb drives, and keep them on your keychain or put them in a safe place. I don't have that problem because I don't have anybody living here anymore. There's no one in my life anymore like there was at one point. So I don't have a problem with that. And I've also gotten to the point where, frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn, as Rhett Butler said in Gone with the Wind, because I am who I am, and I'm honest and forthright. And if I'm off the cue or off the mark, and I can see it, I'll be the first to admit it. And if an apology is needed, I have no problem in doing that. And once you get to that point in life, it's pretty powerful. It truly, truly is. We all see things we want to improve on or change if we could. However, many people are reticent to see the gems in themselves because we all have them. It's a really good idea to write down your golden nuggets too, you discover. One of the things I do in my journal, when something hits me like a stroke of brilliance, I put down in capital letters and underline, remember this. And then when I go through my journal at the end of the year, I've got a remember this journal or file that I log them all onto. And it's like, if I'm looking for inspiration, I go to my own source. Fascinating, isn't it? Because we all have it. The trick is unlocking it. That's the trick. And there's other things, that when you want to improve on, what do you like about yourself, Write those things down too. Pat yourself on the back for your accomplishments, for the way you treat people, for whatever it is. Be sure that while you check in about where you're going off track, also check about what you're being really great at, because every one of us has both. And you can have a wish list. Yes, if you're 6 foot tall as an example, and you really wish you were 5 foot, 6 or whatever. Well, you have to be realistic about your wishes, because when I was younger, I swear I was 5'6" when I was in grade, 9 or 8 even. And I so wished. I even used to think about, how could maybe if I could get an operation and get, 2 inches cut out of my bones or my thighs, and they could knit together, and then that would make me shorter. But that's how a kid thinks. And I don't feel bad about it, because that's where I was. And writing about myself and getting to know myself better, I can accept all those foibles, those idiocies, those things, along with my strokes of brilliance and the good things I do. And that's what journaling has done for me. If you practice, I can't stress it strong enough and long enough or often enough that a successful life with healthy direction is a direct result of auditing your present viewpoints and actions. If you practice some of these forms of journaling often enough, the activity will become one of your most treasured activities and the best of friends. Record however you want to record and enjoy. Okay, so that's enough of me rambling on. So now we're open for questions. Hi, everybody. So let's see what we have here. Rita from Germany, greetings. And Donna Sarrett, hi, nice to see you. And Stephanie Ann, lovely to see you too. How did they take it? How did they take what? I'm not sure, Mrs. 10 years after. If you could just repost your question, that would be great. Liz Hardy, I keep a notebook. I'm going to bring this up here. I should be doing that anyway. Liz Hardy, I keep a notebook beside my bed to jot down thoughts and leave it alone until the following day. Works wonders. Where's my thumb? Bravo. Wonderful, Lisa. That's excellent. Tori, let me see, where am I going? Oh, I am going backwards here. Good morning, Lori Terrell. God bless you all, and God bless you and everyone else as well. Florida Okie. Let me see, we bring you up here. I like the idea of writing once a week, sort of a letter to myself. Maybe I'll try that. Excellent. And I'll share with you, Florida Okie. That's what I do, is I write once a week. I will go to and I don't know why I do this at this point, but somehow it works. I'm right across the street from the St. Lawrence Market here in Toronto, and it's a tourist section, and it's really one of our great spots. I take my journals after I do a live stream where I've been doing some social media stuff, and I go over, take my journals, I get a coffee and my lunch, and I sit there and I write. And there's music and there's people from all around the world, like it's just the busiest place, and I pick there to write. I don't know why, but somehow it works. I will often write in my daughter's journal that I have for her, and I write and speak to her, and I have to tell you, for those that are missing loved ones, it's one of the most powerful ways to reconnect with them on a spiritual level. Sorry, but, well, I'm not really sorry. It's just the way it feels. It's so dynamic, and I feel like I'm right there with her. So for any of your the lost people in your life, or the people that have passed away, that's really good. Now, why does this happen with all these people around? I don't know. It just does. So I go with what works. So I just wanted to share that with you. Lisa Hardy, good morning. And Linda, good morning. Let's see. Okay, so, let's see what... Lassiter Lynn, I do a cross between bullet and event journaling. Good for you, Lassiter. Yeah, that's, I haven't tried the bullet journaling because I'm going to, there is one where, let me see, I'm going to, I give you the name, or I did have it. Did I let it go? Oh no. If you want to look it up on Google, it's bulletjournal.com. BULLETJOURNAL, all one word, .com. That has a great little video there for you, for those who may be interested in that. Bullet journaling may be more for you because you have a busy lifestyle. Okay, so do we have any other questions here? And remember, for those that will be watching the playback, I will post your questions, and I will attend to them in the next live stream. Okay, so it looks like we're finished pretty much with journaling. I don't see any other questions. So now we're going to jump over to the skincare tip. Well, the skincare tip. What is it? Are you ready? Ta-da! Vaseline. Yes, Vaseline. I have to tell you, there's more things you can do with Vaseline than you can imagine. Now, I have been using Vaseline myself for, God only knows how long. But from a beauty perspective, let's just take a look at all the things you can do with it from a beauty perspective. It removes your eye makeup and waterproof mascara and your long-wear lipstick. Just put a little bit on a cotton pad, rub it around, take it off, or on a cotton ball, or however it works for you. It removes. And if you wear waterproof mascara, which I don't recommend, it removes it. The other thing it does, it moisturizes your lips. I put some on my cuticles and the nail plate over time, and your hands, and it heals. And any other dry spots in your body, use nightly, and it absolutely does heal the skin. Now, for those that wear the long wear lipstick like I do, I take off what I can, and then whatever doesn't come off, I use the Vaseline and just rub it on. Take it off with a Q-tip, and then whatever's left on my lips, I just push it in with the Vaseline in. I never have a problem with dry lips, ever, 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 ever. And my cuticles are always, they're in great shape because of the Vaseline. Now, we'll also smooth and unruly eyebrows and keep them in place. Now, I'm going to just put up this listing for you, too. And it will keep them in place as well. And it's been used in the fashion-forward, industry. They use Vaseline on the sides of the cheeks to make them a little bit more, shiny almost, shall we say. And when they used to use Vaseline on the eyelid and then put powder over top of it to help add kind of a sheen to it. It's used in all kinds of ways in the film and television industry or the fashion industry. Yes. The other thing is, it can be used on your boots, your shoes, your handbags, and any other leather or vinyl products that need a bit of polish. Yeah, really, it does. Now, if you have pierced ears, for those that don't wear, like me, I don't wear my pierced ears very much at all. I only have studs. And so sometimes, how the ear tends to close up, put a little bit of Vaseline, rub it around on your earlobes, and put a little bit of Vaseline on the little stick that goes inside. Voila, goes in great. And you can use it for a stuck zipper. Put a little Vaseline on a stuck zipper, and it will really help to unloosen it. Now, those are some of the beauty things you can use them for. Now, other uses for Vaseline. If you've got minor scrapes or burns, a Vaseline will help. Now, the burns issue is a little bit different for everybody. I'm a strong supporter of using a baking soda and water paste on burns. They also use Vaseline for your pet's paws to help the nails. Diaper rashes for babies that get them. And it helps your split ends with your nails. And when you're, for those that still dye their hair, Or if you're dyeing your eyebrows, put a little Vaseline all around it, and then the dye won't hit. You know, it's like a protection. If you have a ring that's stuck on, it will help to get it off. And it also helps to keep your razors like new. You apply just a little bit of Vaseline onto the blade between uses when it's dry, of course, and it helps to keep it, you know, in good shape. And you, again, used a very little bit on furniture. It helps to repel dust on furniture surfaces. And it makeup stains on your clothes. If that happens to you, apply a little bit of the Vaseline jelly to the stain, and then it washes out. And it also removes super glue from your skin. So, you know, those are all the uses that you know, you can do with let me get this out of the way, that you can do with Vaseline. And to me, it's very much like baking soda. You know, there are two things in your home, both from a beauty perspective and from a household perspective. So let's see if we have any questions on this. Kathy Kitterman, let's bring you up here. My mom used Vaseline to polish up her leather shoes. Yes, exactly, Kathy. Exactly. And Aaron, let's see. I use castor oil for eyebrows. It also helps to grow hair as well, which I just pluck out. It helps eyes, dry eyes, and blepharitis, which I have. Yes, I totally understand that. And you know, they also say that, you know, Vaseline also will help to grow your lashes. I don't know. I have to tell you one thing. I'm starting to use Vaseline more for makeup remover now too. I have to tell you, because it's so good. Let me see. I just got here. I don't know. So perhaps you dealt with this. Not sharing what your question is. Okay. I lost. Mrs. 10 years after, oh, I lost my baby boy. Didn't get that story. I'm so sorry, Mrs. 10 years after, and I can totally identify. I would recommend that you try journaling, a journal just for your son, and just see what happens with it. It makes a big difference. For me, it does anyway, and I certainly hope that it does for you. Let me see. Is there any other questions with respect to journaling here? Let's see. Or not journaling, but okay. Aaron, for journaling. Yes, I just got here, so perhaps you've dealt with this. Sometimes I have no idea what to say in your journal. I understand that. That's where, if you just start to write. I know it might sound silly, and some of the things you start to write about might seem really weird, but you know what? You'll find that stuff will start to come out. One of the things you can start with is saying how much you appreciate yourself. What are your strengths? What are the things you appreciate yourself? That is surely a good way to get you started. Let me know if that works for you, Aaron. And let's see if we have any other questions here. Mrs. 10 years after, I will. Thank you. Excellent. Good for you. That's great. Well, it doesn't look like we have any more questions with respect to the Vaseline tip for your face. So I think we should just go to the questions that we have. And let me see. I have some from... First of all, what I want to show you, though, this is from Susan Sajecki O'Meara. And she says here, "Hi Sharon, I want to share my pay it forward with you. I have made 4 little quilts for the NICU babies at All Children's Hospital in St. Petersburg, Florida. I'll be taking them in this week to donate in honor of your daughter. Thank you for your Make Better. I'm feeling prettier than I have in years by using your advice and following principles. Your efforts and time you took on me are truly appreciated." I just want to say publicly, thank you, Susan. This is exactly the whole idea of pay it forward. Andrea would have absolutely loved this because she just absolutely loved children. And just to reiterate, my YouTube channel is not monetized in any way. I make no money. I get no benefit. I don't do any advertising or anything because I don't believe in that what has become a greed factor. And because I'm retired, I have hot and cold running water. I have a bed. I have a flat screen. I have a computer. I have a kitchen. I have food. I have a lovely surrounding area. What more do I need to keep gathering? So the whole idea is if you've benefited in any way from this YouTube channel or your Make Betters or whatever, I'm simply asking you to pay it forward with your own time, your talent, or your treasure to a person or group in need in your postage stamp of the world, wherever that may be, in Andrea's name, Andrea Main. That's all I'm asking. And I just wanted to show Susan's contribution. And what's beautiful about this is, in paying it forward, as you all know, I'm sure, but I guess I just want to yammer about it for a second. When we pay things forward like this, not only do we help others in ways that sometimes we don't even know, we also honor ourselves. We honor the beauty we have in us to share with others. Boy, I don't know what's going on today, but it's like this is kind of like a tearjerker one, isn't it? But when things are really beautiful, it affects me, and they're tears of joy, gratification, and satisfaction and love. So when I see these kinds of things, and I know that how paying it forward like this has a profoundly wonderful effect on those that do. So thank you, Susan, very much for your pay it forward. Okay, now we have a question from Stephanie. Stephanie 7674. Sharon, I'm still thinking about going back to a pixie cut. I felt so good with that haircut, and I feel I look better with shorter hair, and it was easy to care for. What characteristics that one has make them look better with short hair? I can't figure it out. I would love to have a long hair, but I feel it just doesn't look right. It's an excellent question. Do you know, Stephanie Ann, I would go for a pixie cut if I felt I suited it. Because, for a change for one thing, and it's just, it can be easy too. But the reason I don't is because I have very thinning hair. Now, a lot of women past the age of 45, their hair will start to thin out, and it thins out on top. So for a pixie cut, depending on the style you have, if your hair is thin, it's not going to work quite as well unless you perhaps get a topper. Now, toppers come in all sizes, lengths, and everything these days. We have really moved along well with toppers. And I really like the synthetic, heat-friendly toppers that have come on the market in the last little while, because they stay in shape no matter what, and you can steam them into a different shape, but when you shampoo them, they'll go back to the original state that you got them in. So using a topper is helpful. Now, there's such a variety of pixie cuts. Here's another thing with thinning hair for a pixie cut. If you want to bring it forward, and I'm all about, with pixie cuts, hairspray, or I'm not a big fan of pomade because it gets dirty fast. But if you wash your hair every day, well, then that's different. But using your fingers as combs, because fingers are a wonderful texture creator. And with pixie cuts, texture's really, really, I think, more attractive than not. And especially as we age, having the softness that texture brings to our faces is a good thing to explore for for you. Now, I've seen your hair, Stephanie Ann, and I got to tell you, I have hair envy. Stephanie Ann has beautiful, soft curls, and the last cut I saw, she had it bobbed at the back and long in the front. Ah, fabulous. I think that's your best. I would maybe, instead of going pixie, try going shorter with what you have. See how you like it and see if that solves your problems. And if not, go back to it. But leaving the bangs long because it suits you. And see if you like it, and if not, it will grow back in, as you're aware. So I hope that answers your question, Stephanie. Next, we have Roxanne. I'm having problems with severe lengthwise ridges in my nails. My thumbnail actually splits. I'm 58. Roxanne, you're not alone. The thing is with nails, it's all about what's on the inside too. How much water do you drink? How much high water content food do you eat? Do you take good care of your nails? Do you cover your nails with gloves when you're doing any household chores, or have, doing your dishes? Doing your dishes is a big thing. Keeping your nails covered is important. Making sure you use the Vaseline. Try this. Try this for a couple of weeks and see what you think. Around your cuticles every night, because that's where the nail grows out of, and cover your nail with the Vaseline. See if that works. And depending how difficult it is, then you may have to see a manicurist and ask them to give you a critique of what they would suggest for your nails. Okay? I hope that helps. So let's see if we have any more questions. Yes, that question was from a few weeks ago. Yes, it was. Oh, well, anyway, other people may benefit from it, Stephanie Ann. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Tondra? I can't pronounce the name, sorry. Hello, this is Marina Rains, Central Texas. The best way to help ourselves and feel better is to step outside our comfort zone and help someone else without the need for personal affirmation. Yes, that's a very good practice to get into. Doing that, even if can you imagine if everybody in the world did one kind thing a week, we could change everything. At least in my world, we could. Thank you, that's very true. And let me see, what else have we got here? That question was from okay. Let me see. Kathy Kitt. I use Sandra Murkerson. Sorry. I use Vaseline on my face all the time. I'm 68 years and have good skin. Bravo. And from your profile picture, that looks to be exactly right. Thank you for sharing that. Lori Terrell. Let's see. You are beautiful inside. Oh, well, thank you, Lori. That's very kind of you. Let me see. Okay, Aaron says, I have the same vertical lines and splitting. I've been told by alternative experts it is adrenal and iron, silica, potassium out of whack. Well, thank you, Aaron. That's something to explore for sure. Again, depending on how severe it is, like I have one nail that has some ridges on it, and I just buff it down, and I do my own, maybe some caffeine will help. What's it called? CND makes it. Shellac. That's the word. I do my own shellac, and I keep my nails short just because. But I keep them natural just because it's a lot easier. So, but with that one nail, I make sure that when I take it off, I put some Vaseline on it for a little bit, and just take good care of it. But if it's worse than that, then get it checked out by your doctor and see how that will help. Anyway, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So, oh, we do. Okay, let's take a look here. Sandra Merkerson, I had a brain bleed at 49, went on disability. As soon as I got better, I started volunteering at a local hospital. That was 10 years ago. I have always worked and paid my way. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Good for you. Yep. All the things that we can do. It's amazing if we just step up to the plate. Now, if you have any other questions for those watching the playback, I'll make sure to let me see. Where am I going here? Wait a second. Okay. Why can't? Never mind. If you have any other questions, put them in the comment section below the video afterwards, and I go through them and I make sure I will drag the questions out, as Stephanie Ann knows, and we'll do them either in the next live stream or the live stream after. Okay, so and if so, let me see. I'm having a little bit of trouble here. I don't know why. Why am I having trouble? This is interesting. I'm trying to get out of this page and I can't. I don't know why that is. Seems to me I may be a little bit stuck, but I wanted to bring up our quote and it's not letting me do it. So let me see. If I can't, then I'm simply going to have to, and I'm trying to even to go to another page. And it's not letting me. So, you know what, gang? I'm going to leave it here. I'll save the quote for the next time. And just remember that, if you're looking for what do they call it? What do I call it? A pay it forward, make better. You can get those on either my Sharon Danley beauty page or my other Facebook page on Going Gray and Loving It. And, remember to please like, share, and subscribe because, algorithms, and I'm not monetized. So your help that way is helpful. Anyway, it was a pleasure seeing you and having this little chat. And in 2 weeks' time, I will be back. And, be back with a live stream in 2 weeks, live at 11. And next week, on Friday, I will be posting a video. Not really sure what it's going to be about yet. There's a couple of irons in the fire with hair and makeup. I guess it's whatever I get edited best. In the meantime, have a wonderful balance of the day. Take good care of yourself and your loved ones around you. And if you can think about doing one good thing for somebody somewhere, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies. As always, it's a pleasure. Mwah!